What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to look to the future with Sucker Punch. I thought this would be kind of fun and a little bit different, kind of in a celebration of the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Right now out, people are enjoying it. It seems like very, very highly, which is great to see. And, you know, I've talked about, me kind of petitioning for them to make a Sly Cooper game, but I wanted to look at it kind of one more time and see, what really is the next step for them after this. Now, we had a lot of job listings and stuff about, for them over the last little while, and I think a lot of people, this was, by the way, before Director's Cut came out, a lot of people, including myself, linked it to Ghost of Tsushima 2. There were talks about multiplayer, like job positions for multiplayer. There were job positions that you kind of would need to know Japanese culture, and very much indicating Ghost of Tsushima. Now, again, could that have just been for Iki Island? Possibly. Could the multiplayer stuff been for Rivals mode for, Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which that's not out yet. Remember, that comes out the first Friday of September. It could be. I still feel pretty good, and I think it's, it doesn't take a genius to predict this, right? I think the next thing they do probably is Ghost of Tsushima 2. I mean, look, Ghost of Tsushima knocked it out of the park, kind of universally loved. I loved it myself personally. It's fantastic. I put them back on the map as one of the, in my opinion, put them back on. Some people always thought they were, but, as a premier kind of studio, one of the better Sony first-party studios, right? Probably in that elite tier that they have. Awesome. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't you kind of double down with that? And, well, I guess you could even say that the Director's Cut is almost doubling down on it, but triple down on it then and do a Ghost of Tsushima 2. So I think that's definitely going to happen. But as I've said a couple times in the past, I do believe, and I think with this Director's Cut, it probably is going to help the case, that I do think Sony is trying to make every developer they have, maybe one or two, like not, but trying to do it kind of across the board, making all the developers they have be multi-team. So, you have Naughty Dog. Now, they say they only work on one thing at a time. I flat out don't believe that. And they did, admit that they obviously were a two-studio team at one point, and then they stopped. I do think they're working on like 2 or 3 things at the same time. Obviously, Insomniac is at least working always on 2 things at the same time, maybe 3 or more, right? Guerrilla Games, there's a lot of rumors that they were obviously doing Horizon, but that they're also doing a multiplayer kind of specific game. So they're working on 2 games. So basically, the point I'm trying to get across is I do think, again, all of these teams, Sony's trying to grow into kind of doubles. So, they may only have 12, 13, 14 teams, but really they have 28 because each studio can kind of produce double as fast. So for, Sucker Punch, I think it makes a lot of sense to do the same thing. Now, like I said, the kind of evidence, I would argue, would be Director's Cut. I feel like they're probably working on something, and I could be wrong, but I do think they're probably working on something in the background while they were working on Director's Cut. So they're doing 2 things at the same time. Now, Director's Cut's done. Now they can do maybe a new second thing, right? I still like the idea of Sly Cooper. I don't want to harp on it too long, but I think, obviously Sly started at Sucker Punch, and so you're going to naturally, I think, make those links again. I think it makes sense. We've heard rumors that Sly is indeed back, and that it's being worked on behind the scenes, but yet again, the same people that say that have said that it's not Sucker Punch doing it. So, there's that. There's Infamous, which there has been rumors in the past about Infamous returning. Some people feel pretty good about the idea of that franchise coming back. They renewed the domain name, and they've kind of kept it around. That they've kept the website up, so there is some evidence to suggest Infamous could come back. I really think that second team is more of a wild card. So again, to, I guess, do kind of a cop out thing. Ghost of Tsushima 2, I feel like, is obviously a thing that's going to happen and probably happen relatively soon, right? I guess like that would be like the next one they do. But I would not throw out the idea of probably returning to, if you're not returning to Sly, if we want to believe those rumors, I feel like Infamous makes sense. Either to put them in a remaster form, right? I mean, again, as I've said actually in the past, there's no actual way of playing 1, 2, and technically, I guess, Festival of Blood, and then Infamous Second Son and First Light. They're all actually split up. I mean, 1 and 2 are in a collection together, but not obviously the last one. So, I think it makes sense to kind of bring them all back for the PS5. I think that would actually kind of be cool. I'm not the biggest fan of Second Son, but I would still like to go back and play all 3 of them in the DLCs and stuff. So, then that's, I don't want to call it easy, because making games is definitely not easy, right? But I feel like that would be kind of a smaller project that wouldn't take too much time, wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world, and that you can do that. And then that can obviously spark going forward with Infamous. So, I know nothing kind of mind-blowing here. It's possible they could, like, start a brand new franchise again, do something brand new. But I do want to say this, though, as we've learned with Ghost of Tsushima, and as they've admitted, making that game, it was hard. Like, and again, making games is hard, but it took a lot of work, and they threw out a lot of this, like the assets and just mechanics that they had for like Infamous. A lot of that stuff had to be like fully replaced. There is some stuff that stayed, but for the most part, like a lot of stuff was brand new, and that takes a long time. That takes a really, really big team. That takes, I think, the sole focus. I don't know if they're at a two-studio kind of thing right now, and I'm sure, again, that's kind of where Sony wants them to be eventually. But I would say, maybe smaller, maybe like a big project and then a smaller project. Honestly, again, kind of like this. You have the main game, Ghost of Tsushima, and I wouldn't be surprised if most of the team is now working on the next big thing, but then you have people working on a smaller thing, which would be a new DLC, which, by the way, again, this DLC is pretty meaty for being a DLC, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think they make Ghost 2 next? Do you think they go to Sly or Infamous or maybe something brand new? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter or subscribe to my second channel or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, all the links for those things are in the description below if you guys want to check them out, okay? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.